Thank you for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop. On today's review, we take a look at the Storm Collectibles Gears of War Tactics Locust Disciple. Today, I'll be reviewing this figure in the following category: accessories, articulation, design. Is it essential to your collection, functionality, and price? Once all scores are totaled, I'll give you my opinion if this figure is a pass or a purchase. So I'm pretty happy to finally add some Locust to the collection, as I have the 3 COG figures that have released already with Storm Collectibles. So for accessories, Storm Collectibles certainly does not disappoint. So starting with my left, you get a pair of goggles. And I really like accessories to where you can kind of make the characters look different, especially if you're trying to army build certain characters. And you also get a helmet, which adds to that. And the helmet is done well. Really like the combination of colors that are here. You get 8 pair of hands that are in total: 2 fisted, which are on the figure, 2 trigger hands, 2 reaching hands, and 2 kind of open grip hands. And when it comes to the hands, Storm Collectibles normally puts in attention. The nails are painted particularly well. There's some line works in the scope. So the hands look very well. There's a strap and very clean paint details here. So now coming on to some of my favorite accessories. So very quick story. So when Gears of War first came out, I was a savage on the Xbox, man. I had a clique that I was running with online, and we were known for just killing people. So one of my favorite weapons was the boom shot. And this is done so well. Just a lot of combination of paint. And it's usually the one thing that Storm Collectibles does not skip out on. So very happy with this accessory. The one thing that I wish is that, well, maybe not wish. The one thing that I want, this should have had a port to where you can sort of plug something in. Pretty much how Mezco does it. That's the one thing that I would say that's missing. And here you have a small detail here, which is painted. Man, this just looks phenomenal. Next to that, we have what I believe is the long shot. Now, I'm going off of these weapons by memory, and this is also done very well. Not as much paint as the boom shot, but still a lot of dry brushing that's done here. Very clean. Would have been super dope if this was a plastic or glass part, but it's not. Definitely won't be taking away points for that. And we have what I think is the Boltok. I thought that this was a bit bent, but when I look at it sort of head down, it seems to be straight. And then we get a frag grenade. So I'll talk more about this in the functionality department. So when it comes to the accessories, I'm extremely satisfied. We get 4 weapons in total, a combination of a helmet, goggles, as well as 4 pair of hands, 8 hands in total. So for overall accessories, I'll be giving the Locust a 10 out of 10. So before we dive right into articulation, I think there's a difference when it comes to articulation depending on the character. Some characters you expect to be more articulated, such as a Spider-Man. So when I have a figure such as that, I'm looking for more articulation than, let's say, a Incredible Hulk. So I don't know what the score for this articulation for this character is going to be, as I haven't tested it as of yet. But in the event, if it does end up being high, and it's like, wait a minute, you scored something that has better articulation with a less score than this, that's why. So starting with the head. Oh, well, okay. Wow. So the head is able to look all the way up. I was not expecting this. And it's able to look all the way down. It turns some pivot, and it also shifts back and forth. So with the arm, wasn't expecting that either. The arm moves exceptionally well up. I don't know if you're going to get a 360. Well, seems like you can. But you do have these wires, so keep that in mind. You have a butterfly joint bending in that much, which is a good amount. Bending back that much, which is also a good amount. So you have an upper bicep cut. Single jointed elbow, bending in about that much. So the wrists are able to rotate. They're on a ball peg, so if you find the right line, you can get them to go side to side or up and down, which is fantastic. Now, moving into this torso, which looks like a single piece, so I don't know if you're going to get much here. So it feels, okay, maybe it's not a single piece. All right, so I'm going to try to hold. So using the upper part of the torso, he's able to move back more than I thought, especially with this armor on him. He's able to move forward about that much. You do get some upper rotation and a good amount of pivot. Using the combination of the two, he goes back a lot, forward a good amount, good rotation, excellent pivot. This thing is way better articulated than I thought it would be. So for the legs, they're able to stretch out about that much, which is very good. Move forward about that much. Backwards, it goes more than forward. Let's try that again. Well, if you angle it forward, you can get it up a lot higher. You do have upper rotation. No rotation at the boot. The next point of rotation will be the foot, which you don't get a lot. Now, with the foot, it's able to go down that much, forward more. You do have some toe articulation going up that much. And the knees are single jointed, bending in about that much. So for articulation, I am so pleasantly surprised. And I'm going to give the Locust a 9 out of 10. So for design, Storm Collectibles did a phenomenal job. I'm going to focus on that, and then I'll point out something that's not done particularly the best. So the head sculpt is done very well. Zoom in a little bit. I really like the teeth, the whiteness in the eyes, and the continuous yellow that's coming around. For those of you that played the game, you remember that this was to simulate like cracks, whatever energy source they use, and this character sort of fused up. So that yellow just continues from the head throughout the armor, the arms, and pretty much that's where it stops. But then just focusing on the combination of the colors, and the colors are clean. And this is normally the case with Storm Collectibles, just transitioning from several colors to others. And it's just a clean transition. The yellow is exactly where it needs to be. You can see the texture throughout, as well as in the body, the abdomen area. And even turning him behind, very clean paintwork. Everything is where it needs to be. So the one issue or my complaint is that in the game, all of the yellow actually lights up. And it has, I guess when it becomes unstable, it starts to glow an orange or a red. So I would have preferred if this was if this was a light up feature, and even if it wasn't a light up feature, if this part was done in some sort of plastic with some sort of translucent ooze kind of running through it, that I would have preferred. Of course, I know that that would have hiked up the price point. So for design, even though this mimics the game nearly perfectly, because of those things, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10 for design. So is this figure essential to your collection? That's a pretty difficult question to ask, as there are so many subspecies of locust. So just comparing that in totality, I don't think one particular locust holds a lot of relevance over another. So if I was simply scoring by that, this would have a pretty low score. Now, what I'm certainly going to take into account, at the moment, we have 2 type of locusts from Storm Collectibles, and I don't know how far they're going to go with this line. So this may be the only 2 that we receive, or it may be 20 more to come. I hope that it's 20 more to come. So given that we have the Warden, and now we have this one, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 as far as being essential to your collection. So for functionality, we may be here for a while as there are quite a few accessories. So we're going to start with the head, and we're going to put the goggles on. Now, the problem with these goggles is it's a soft material. I'm always scared about rubber pieces similar to this. I just feel if you stretch it too much, it's going to break, and over time, it's just going to get to the point where it no longer holds up. So you can sort of just leave them over his head like so. It does fit over his eyes. And I'm pretty sure you can get it better than that, though I think I have it dead center. But this is not something that I would want to continuously take on and off. So on top of that, you receive this helmet, which if I'm not mistaken, I think it goes this way, right? I think it's something like that, right? And that goes on very easy, particularly well. Hopefully I did this right. So now just to remove that, the next part that I really want to focus on, and where Storm Collectibles is going to get a lot of points, it's the functionality of this armor. Now, it is very soft, which I think that I thought I wouldn't like, but I do like it. Being that this is so soft, it allows the head to push back and look all the way up as far as it can. I can't believe that the head is able to look up that much. Now, with these, something that, you should always be nervous to wear if you have cords, but they're pretty sturdy, and you can move the figure pretty well without these stretching. Just don't try to move it too far. And I also like how they decided to, what it appears that they did here, and again, here's another soft piece which slides under. You can see that they gave it an upper and lower part, which I didn't think that they would do. When I first saw this figure, I thought it was a singular upper body, but it's not, so I'm very happy with that. I just like how the armor gets out of the way. So now to change out the hands, let's do that. So with the hands, Storm Collectibles normally has large ball pegs. Simply pull, place the hand in like so. Very easy to do. So now moving on to the weapons, right? You have a weapon gripping hand. I'm going to start with the weapons that I think would be easier for the locust to hold. So you have that. The finger is able to slip in, and he's able to hold that very securely. It is pretty snug, pretty snug. And you probably can get this finger to go in, there you go, all the way in, very snug. So the next weapon that I'll be trying will be the boom shot, which is much larger grip, much larger trigger. And as you can see, he holds that particularly well. This weapon is a bit heavy, so I'm curious to how the arm stays in place. So this is a heavy weapon. It's definitely going to drop the arm some. So with that, you certainly will want to use another hand for support. And given the butterfly joints, it shouldn't be too hard to do so. I may need to go off camera and zoom out some also. So that didn't take long for me to do. So when it comes to the boom shot, you're going to want to do something similar. You can definitely get it in a better pose. Now, the weapon that I'm concerned about is the long shot. Let's see how that works. I'm going to remove the hand as this weapon is a lot lighter. I'm not so much concerned with him holding it. Okay, it works a lot easier than I thought that it would. So the grip hands work exceptionally well with the accessories that we get. Let's move on to the frag grenade. So with the frag grenade, now there are some things that I would have preferred. Either or would have worked better than what we've gotten here. This is a very soft plastic or rubber. I think that this would have been a lot better if they actually used an actual chain, or if they would have used something that had bendy wire in it. Either one would have been better than what we get here. Now, as far as what hand this actually is held in, I have to see, as I'm not sure. So just looking, I don't think that there's actual hand for this, right? You can get the trigger figure hand to hold it. What did I do with it? All right, you can do something like this. Oh. Something like this, but that doesn't really look right. Or you can get him to somehow hold it from the bottom. And again, that doesn't really look right. And if you're just curious about some of the open hands, this is one that's more closed than the others, but even with this, it's not held properly. So not really a hand to hold it securely. And last but not least, I spoke about this in the design part. I really would have liked the light up feature. I think that really would have set this character off. So for overall functionality, we have a lot of components that works well. I'm going to give this character an 8 out of 10. So come on, these are army builders. You know I had to have more than one. So for pricing, this figure comes in at $65. That's before taxes. That is before shipping. Mine shipped for free, so add in taxes. Let's just say it's about 70 bucks. So now, is this figure worth the price of admission? So let's see what it comes with. The very first thing to keep in mind is that this is an army builder. And you initially get 3 ways to display this figure. One with the helmet, one with goggles, and one without. And you also get an array of hands as well as weapons to make them different enough. Now, looking at the pricing, while $70 is nothing to sneeze at for an action figure, it's a lot less than what we've been seeing for Storm Collectibles, as their prices have been steadily increasing. You receive good functionality, fantastic articulation, and a bunch of accessories. So for pricing, I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to give this set a 10 out of 10. That should give this set an overall Cliff score of 53 out of 60. Now, is this figure a pass or a purchase? If you're collecting The Gears of War lineup, it is absolutely a purchase. And I even feel if you're not collecting Gears of War, you can fit these figures somewhere else in your collection. All right, so let's zoom out. Wrong way. Let's remove you. We'll keep you dead center. Let's throw in main man Coltrane. And you can see the height difference there. Come on, Coltrane. Is this table uneven? Maybe. And let's throw in Marcus. Let's remove Coltrane. It's a shame, I don't even know her name, but let's put her in from Gears of War. Let's remove Marcus. Let's throw in another Storm Collectibles Doomsday. Let's remove her. Let's put in NECA's Metalhead for kicks and giggles. All right, fix that foot. And last but not least, let's throw in Marvel Legends Dr. Doom. Okay, so I'm definitely going to have to get a fabric cake for Doom. So here you have it. So thank you for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop, and I hope to see you during the next review.